Hey everyone, my name is Chloe and I'm here to talk about the books that I read last week. So there's quite the stack, so let's just get into it. So the first one is The Fourth Grade Fairy by Eileen Cook. This is one that we had on our shelf, so I read this with my kids and it is falling apart. The first page is not in there, the rest of it's not, it's just falling apart. So I thought, let's read this and either get it off our shelves or, buy a better copy because this is, not great. So we read this and it was fine. It's about this girl who, in this world, fairies and humans are called humdrums. Fairies and humans kind of are scared of each other / just don't interact because of decades long wars and things that happened. And our main character is very intrigued by the humdrums and she really wants a humdrum best friend. And when you turn 10, you get some sort of special ability when you're a fairy. And so her sister can fly. This is her sister. And she is not sure what her gifting will be. And around her 10th birthday, her grandma, who is the principal of a humdrum school, says, hey, you can come to school here for 2 weeks. But when you get your power, we're probably going to have to make you go back because you don't want powers messing with things. And so she does get her powers. She tries to keep it secret. And she does make a friend, and trying to navigate the fairy humdrum line is what's going on. So my complaints about this book are, one, that some of the writing felt very clunky and just weird to read aloud. But also she and her sister are awful to each other. And in a way that's not more so than you would. I mean, it's probably realistic, but I'm not trying to normalize that in our house because they talked awful to each other. There is a situation where one has to rescue the other, and so that kind of brings them closer. But still, I don't know. We're not going to continue on in the series, and I'm not going to keep this book. Then we read the Mount Rushmore Calamity. This is the first in the Flat Stanley's Worldwide Adventure series, and it was fine. It's a very brief, basic introduction to Mount Rushmore and as Flat Stanley and his family go to visit. Again, sibling relationships were not as bad in this one, but one brother has to save the other, and so this was cute enough. I'm definitely comfortable passing the rest of this series on to my daughter, but it's not one, it's definitely just an introduction. Then I read The Cartoonist Club by Raina Telgemeier. So this is a graphic novel about a bunch of kids who want to be cartoonists and they want to start drawing comics. And this was fine. It was more of a how to draw comics. And, we talked about what material to use and what you need to do, the balance between words and pictures. And it was just okay for me as somebody who has no interest in that. There's also one page where they talk about pronouns that felt very out of place. And so I didn't love this, but so it goes. Then let's get into the adult reads. So I read A Bridge Across the Ocean by Susan Meisner, and unfortunately did not love this. I love Susan Meisner, and this was just a bust for me. So this follows a woman in present day who can see ghosts, and then two women in the 40s who both were on this ship as war brides to come to America. And all the things that happened. My problem with this is that it jumps perspectives and timelines. And so it's not, I think you got to do one or the other. You either jump timelines and everybody's in that timeline, or you jump perspectives, but jumping all over the place made this feel disjointed. I didn't love any of the characters. I didn't really care. And I didn't like the supernatural element. I don't know. Out of the three, I would say the present day storyline was my favorite. But because this woman, again, has this gifting and her husband is ready to have babies and she doesn't want to because this gifting is not something she enjoys. And so she doesn't want to pass it along. So I like that discussion, but that's pretty minor. So I don't know. I didn't love this one. Then one that I did love is The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison. So this is a book about a woman who made this decision about where to go to college. She could either stay in Florida where she's from or go to Ireland and pursue acting, either way. And so her and her best friend applied to this school in Ireland and only one of them got in. So they both decided to stay. And life has happened. Her best friend died. And so she's, living life. She's a soap star, and her image and everything is very much controlled by her job. And her job is kind of on the line. Like, the show is about to get canceled. And so she's like, you know what? I just need a break. I'm going to go to this little town in Ireland where I did not go to school. And so she goes, and then everybody there knows her. And her best friend's still alive, and it's this whole alternate universe. And so we don't know how she got there, why she got there, if she's gonna stay there or come back. And I loved this. I thought this book was so good, and it was just a book about living life for yourself, and not, just making sure you are in control of your decisions. Like, don't give that control to somebody else. Don't let somebody tell you where you should go, what you should do, how you should look, all those things. You can make those decisions for yourself, and it's really empowering when you realize that. And so I really like this. I was emotionally invested, and this was a really good book. Then another one that I was just okay, The Return by Nicholas Sparks. So this is about a guy who goes back to North Carolina because he inherits his grandpa's house after his grandpa has died. Now, his grandpa has kind of mysteriously died. He had a stroke. He was super old, but he was in South Carolina, and this guy never thought he left North Carolina. And so why was he there? What's going on? There is a girl that he meets that he thinks is maybe like looting on the property. And that is like the very beginning of the book, and then that doesn't circle back around until later. There's also a little bit of a romance as one of the police officers comes to check on the property, and he has an instant attraction to her, and so there's that. So there's kind of those two mysteries going on, as well as the romance, and the two mysteries don't come back around until like the end. And so this book got a little slow in the middle, and I was interested in the mysteries once they start going, but it kind of felt disjointed in like two separate books. And a lot of it was just the romance, and, the romance, she can't be with him because there's somebody else. And so there's a lot of you get the ick major with cheating. You find out later why it's so gray, but, I don't know. This was just okay for me. It has Nicholas Sparks's charm, kind of the attempt at an emotional gut punch. It just didn't quite hit for me. Then we have The Girls Who Grew Big by Layla Motley. So I really enjoyed this book. This book is following 3 teen moms as they are navigating pregnancy and motherhood, and what that means for them. And it opens with a very graphic birth scene. So if you are squeamish about that, or if you have not had kids and are not super interested in that, don't read this. But like I said, it's following 3 different teen moms. 2 are black, 1 is white, and all have different things going on, and they're all kind of prickly because life is hard, and culture doesn't treat them very well, and society is not friendly to them. And this book is a hard book to recommend because there are very touchy subjects in here. There is abortion, there are parenting things, there are, lots of moral things that just definitely check trigger warnings. And I was emotionally invested in this book, and I felt angry at the girls, but also just a great window into a totally different perspective than what I have. And so you can't, it's hard to judge their actions when you are not walking in those shoes. And while the actions were really painful to read about, it was also okay, we are 16 years old and in a minority group with no support, and what would that decision look like in that situation? And so I think this kind of book is important. I do also like the writing style, which is surprising to me because it is kind of lyrical, kind of metaphorical, but not in a way that's just say what you need to say, or what are you talking about, but in a way that really adds emphasis to things. And it's a very complex writing style, and but it's a straightforward story, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm surprised, but I really enjoyed this one. And then last, I actually finished this book. I DNF'd it today, and so I'm filming this on Sunday, and I normally go just through Friday, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway because I don't want to keep it around. It is The Summer Guest by Mary Alice Monroe. I got 15% of the way through this and didn't love it, so I'm DNFing it, and it's going to be in my in and out. So that is everything that I read. Now let's talk about what I'm currently reading. So the girls and I are reading The Mouse and the Motorcycle, and I never read this as a kid, and so it's really fun. We're doing a novel study on it, so we're not reading it super quickly. What we're actually doing is reading a chapter of this a day, and then the other time we typically read at like quiet time and then bedtime, and at one or the other we read this, and then at the other one we're doing picture books, because we have so many picture books. And when my first was young, that's all we read because she was young. But now that she's older and enjoys chapter books, and my second enjoys chapter books, we don't read our picture books as much. So it's a good balance. So we're doing this and that. She also wanted me to talk about, this is our devotional, God Loves Me Every Day, 365 Daily Devos for Girls. Oh, our bookmark just fell out. But this is a VeggieTales devotional, and I'm really enjoying it. It's got a thought of the day and a prayer, and I'm really liking this. So there's that. And then I'm listening to Skip to the End by Molly James, and so far so good. I'm not very far into this. And then I am listening to The Last Parenting Book You'll Ever Read by Megan Francis, and so far so good on that. So that is all the reads for this past week. It is now it's the last week of Deck TV Marathon, so I'm not sure what we'll get up to, but stay tuned and we'll see. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one.